ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ನಮಸ್ಕಾರ. ವೆಲ್ಕಮ್ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಟು ಟುಡೇಸ್ ಸಂಚಲನ ಸೆಷನ್. ಜಿಲ್ಲಾ ಪಂಚಾಯತ್ ತುಮಕೂರು, ಶಾಲಾ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಮತ್ತು ಸಾಕ್ಷರತಾ ಇಲಾಖೆ, ಜಿಲ್ಲೆ ಶಿಕ್ಷಣ ಮತ್ತು ತರಬೇತಿ ಸಂಸ್ಥೆ ತುಮಕೂರು ಮತ್ತು ಮಧುಗಿರಿ, ಜಿಲ್ಲಾ ಶೈಕ್ಷಣಿಕ ಸಂವರ್ಧನಾ ಕಾರ್ಯಕ್ರಮಕ್ಕೆ ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಸ್ವಾಗತಿಸುತ್ತೇವೆ. ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಸಂಚಲನದ ಮಾಡ್ಯೂಲಿನ ಹೆಸರು ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ ಕಾನ್ವರ್ಸೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ 1. ಇದು ಶಿಕ್ಷಕರ ನಿರಂತರ ವೃತ್ತಪರ ಅಭಿವೃದ್ಧಿ ಉಪಕ್ರಮವಾಗಿರುತ್ತದೆ. ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತ ಹಾಗೆ ನಾವು ಇವತ್ತಿನವರೆಗೂ ಹಲವಾರು ಸೆಷನ್ ಗಳನ್ನ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ನಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಕೂಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ, ನಮ್ಮ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಅಧಿಕವಾಗಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಪ್ರಯೋಗಿಸಬಹುದು, ಹೆಂಗೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅಲ್ಲೇ ಮಾತಾಡಬಹುದು ಅನ್ನೋ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಎಲಿಮೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಸ್ಪೀಕಿಂಗ್ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಇನ್ ಅ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಮೇಲೆ ಹಲವಾರು ಪಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ನೋಡಿದೀವಿ, ಹಲವಾರು ವರ್ಷನ್ ಮಾಡ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೋಡಿದೀವಿ. ಇವತ್ತು ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಹೊಸ ತರದ ಮಾಡ್ಯೂಲ್ ಶುರು ಮಾಡ್ತಿದೀವಿ, ಅದೇ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ ಕಾನ್ವರ್ಸೇಷನ್ಸ್. ಆದ್ರೆ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಗಮನಿಸಿ, ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಮಾಡ್ಯೂಲ್ ಬೇರೆ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ 1 ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೊತ್ತು ನಾವು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಈ ತರದ ಮಾಡ್ಯೂಲ್ ಅನ್ನ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಸೊ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಮಾಡ್ಯೂಲ್ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ ಕಾನ್ವರ್ಸೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಪಾರ್ಟ್ 1 ಅನ್ನೋ ಟಾಪಿಕ್ ಅನ್ನ ಸೆಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡೋ ಉದ್ದೇಶ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ನಮ್ಮ ಎಲ್ಲರ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅಧಿಕವಾಗಿ ಮಾತಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ನಾವು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಟ್ರೈ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಅನ್ನೋ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರಿ ಅಥವಾ ಗೋಲ್ ಬಂದು ಈ ವರ್ಷದ ಕಲಿಕಾ ಚೇತರಿಕೆ ವರ್ಷದಲ್ಲಿ ನಮ್ಮ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಎನ್ವೈರನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಆ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಎನ್ವೈರನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋರು ನಮ್ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಮಾತ್ರನೇ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಈ ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಎನ್ವೈರನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಆದಂತ ಒಂದು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಎನ್ವೈರನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಇರ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು ತುಂಬಾ ಮುಖ್ಯ. ಆ ಉದ್ದೇಶದಿಂದ, ಆ ಗುರಿಯಿಂದಾನೇ ನಾವೇನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಒಂದು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಎನ್ವೈರನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಈ ಮಾಡ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡೋಣ ಅನ್ನೋ ಪ್ಲಾನ್ ಇಂದ, ಅನ್ನೋ ಉದ್ದೇಶದಿಂದ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಮಾಡ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. ಇದೇ ನಮ್ಮ ಮುಖ್ಯವಾದ ಗುರಿಯಾಗಿದೆ, ಗೋಲ್ ಆಗಿದೆ, which is to create an English environment amidst ಕಲಿಕಾ ಚೇತರಿಕೆ ಇಯರ್. ಆದ್ರೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಎನ್ವೈರನ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ಏನೋ ಹೊಸ ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಕಲ್ತ್ಕೊಡೋದು ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ನಮ್ ಗುರಿ ಅಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಸಿಲೆಬಸ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ನಿಮ್ ಎಲ್ರ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿರೋ ಕಲಿಕಾ ಚೇತರಿಕೆ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡ್ ಬುಕ್ ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಚೆನ್ನಾಗ್ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ, ಅದ್ರಲ್ಲಿ ಇರೋ ಎಲ್ಲೋಸ್ ಕೂಡ ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ರಿಗೂ ಗೊತ್ತಿದೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಈ ಎಲ್ಲೋಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಪ್ರಯೋಗಿಸಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ LSRW ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಬೆಳವಣಿಗೆ ಕಂಡ್ಕೊಳ್ಳೋದು ಅನ್ನೋ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿದೆ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ. ಆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ನೀಡ್ಬೇಕಂದ್ರೆ ನಾವ್ ಆ ಸ್ಕಿಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡೈಲಿ ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಆಗೋದು ತುಂಬಾ ಮುಖ್ಯ. ಅದೇ ಕಾರಣದಿಂದ ನಾವ್ ಈ ಮಾಡ್ಯೂಲ್ ಅನ್ನ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಒಬ್ಜೆಕ್ಟಿವ್ಸ್, ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಉದ್ದೇಶಗಳನ್ನ ಮನಸ್ಸಲ್ಲಿ ಇಟ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಾವು ಈ ಮಾಡ್ಯೂಲ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಿಮ್ ಮುಂದೆ ಪ್ರೆಸೆಂಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಈ ಮಾಡ್ಯೂಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವೇನ್ ನೋಡ್ತೀರಾ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ ಕಾನ್ವರ್ಸೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಅಥವಾ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ ಕಾನ್ವರ್ಸೇಷನ್ಸ್ ನೀವೆಲ್ಲರೂ ಡೈಲಿ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಮಕ್ಳ ಜೊತೆ ಮಾತಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಹಲವಾರು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳು ಕೇಳ್ತೀರಾ, ಹಲವಾರು ಉತ್ತರಗಳು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ. ಈ ತರದ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ ಕಾನ್ವರ್ಸೇಷನ್ಸ್ ನಡೆಯುವಾಗ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಇದೆಲ್ಲವನ್ನು ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಅಧಿಕವಾಗಿ ನಾವ್ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದನ್ನೇ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಮಾಡ್ಯೂಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಫೋಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಆ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ಸ್, ಪ್ಯಾಟರ್ನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಸ್ವಲ್ಪ ನೋಡಕ್ ಪ್ರಯತ್ನ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಆ ಪ್ಯಾಟರ್ನ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಮ್ ಅರ್ಥ ಮಾಡಿಸ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಕ್ಕೆ ಈ ಮಾಡ್ಯೂಲ್ ಬಂದು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಹೆಲ್ಪ್ ಆದ್ರೆ ಅಧಿಕವಾಗಿ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು, ಹೆಂಗೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋ ಉತ್ತರಗಳನ್ನ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಂದ ಪಡೆಯಬಹುದು, ನಮ್ಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋ ಉತ್ತರಗಳು ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಂದ ಸಿಗದೆ ಇರೋವಾಗ ನಾವು ಹೆಂಗೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಮಾರ್ಗದರ್ಶನ ನೀಡಬಹುದು, ಹೆಂಗೆ ಅವ್ರಿಗೆ ಮಾರುದರ್ಶನೆ ನೀಡುವ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳನ್ನ ನಾವು ಕೇಳಬಹುದು, ಹೆಂಗೆ ಅವರಿಗೆ ಶೋಧನಾತ್ಮಕ ಅಥವಾ ಸಂಶೋಧನಾತ್ಮಕ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳನ್ನು ನಾವು ಹೆಂಗ್ ಕೇಳ್ಬಹುದು, ಅದನ್ನೇ ನಾವು ರೀಡೈರೆಕ್ಟಿಂಗ್ ಅಥವಾ ಪ್ರೋಬಿಂಗ್ ಅನ್ನೋ ಟೆಕ್ನಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸಿ ನಾವು ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಮಾಡ್ಯೂಲ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಾವು ಡಿಸ್ಕಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಇವೆಲ್ಲವನ್ನ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಗಮನಿಸಿ ಜ್ಞಾಪಕ ಇಟ್ಕೊಳ್ಳಿ. ಯಾಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ನಾವು ಹೊಸದೇನೋ ಎಲ್ಲೋನೋ ಹೊಸ ಏನೋ ಗ್ರಾಮರ್ ಕಾನ್ಸೆಪ್ಟ್ ಅನ್ನು ನಾವು ಈ ಮಾಡ್ಯೂಲ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೋಡಕ್ ಹೋಗ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ನಮ್ ಸ್ಪೀಕಿಂಗ್ ಅನ್ನ ಹೆಂಗ್ ಇಂಪ್ರೂವ್ ಮಾಡೋದು, ಹೆಂಗೆ ನಾವು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಕ್ಕಳ ಜೊತೆ ಒಂದು ಅಕಾಡೆಮಿಕ್ ಸೆಟಪ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಅಧಿಕವಾಗಿ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡೋದು, ಅವ್ರ ಬಾಯಿಂದ ಹೆಂಗೆ ಇಂಗ್ಲಿಷ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಮಾತಾಡಕ್ ನಾವು ಎಂಕರೇಜ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೋದು ಅನ್ನೋ ಉದ್ದೇಶದಿಂದಾನೇ ನಾವು ಈ ಮಾಡ್ಯೂಲ್ ಅನ್ನ ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಸೊ ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಮಾಡ್ಯೂಲ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ನೋಡ್ತಾ ಇರುವ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ಮೈಲ್ ಸ್ಟೋನ್ಸ್ ಮತ್ತೆ ಲರ್ನಿಂಗ್ ಔಟ್ಕಮ್ಸ್ ಬಂದು ಹಿಂಗಿದೆ. So milestones and learning outcomes that are already given in the Kalika Chetrike handbook are quite some, but we have chosen specifically these for today's module, which is for the December Sanchalana. So for the 4th and 5th grade, we've chosen milestone 10, where identifying the objects in the school surroundings is stressed. For grade 6, we've taken up learning outcome 6.7, where students write paragraphs from both verbal and visual clues and also use appropriate punctuation marks for the same. And for 7th grade, we've chosen learning outcome 7.8, where appreciating both verbally and in writing is kind of stressed upon. So these are the milestones and learning outcomes that we'll be looking into for today's module, and today's framework and examples will all be built around the same. So keeping that in mind, let's move on to what we have to learn and understand in today's session. Over to you, Michelle.
Thank you, Ms. Pa. Good afternoon, dear teachers. So before we start the module, ನಿಮ್ಗೆಲ್ಲರಿಗೆ ಒಂದು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಇದೆ. How do you have classroom conversations? ನೀವು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಕಾನ್ವರ್ಸೇಷನ್ಸ್ ಹೇಗ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ? How do you have classroom conversations? You can send us your responses via chat. Teacher mentors, please note, in centers where teachers are not using their phones, please do try to collect responses from the teachers and send it to us via chat. So dialogues, absolutely, using pictures, using prompts. Thank you, teachers. So excellent inputs from all of you. These are different ways we as teachers have conversations with students in the classroom. And we all know that having conversations is important, because that is how we are able to understand how students are thinking, understand how much they have understood a concept, so on and so forth. Now, many said that we start a conversation by asking a question, and we also said that we expect answers from the students. So in this module, we'll call that expected answer. That is, for the question that we have in the teacher's mind, what is the answer that the teacher is expecting from the student? That answers could be called as a expected answer. So this is how we think we can have a conversation with the child in the classroom. But however, there are lots of challenges that come our way when we ask a question before we get the expected answer. So can some of you tell me what some of those challenges are? ನೀವ್ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್ ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಿ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳುವಾಗ? ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಯಾವ ತರ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್ ಕೇಳ್ತೀರಿ, ಅವ್ರು ಹೇಗೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನೆಲ್ಲ ಚಾಲೆಂಜಸ್ ಫೇಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಚಾಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತಿಳಿಸಿ. ಸೊ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ send us your answers via chat. So what are some of the challenges that we as teachers face when we ask questions? Language problem. Yes, absolutely. Children may hesitate to speak English. Absolutely. Students have lack of communication skills, vocabulary. It is not easy to get the answers expected by students. Excellent points, teachers. Yes, these are all common challenges that we face in a classroom. However, we might ask a question, and in a teacher's mind we have an expected answer. The child might give an incorrect answer, or like so many of you pointed out, might not give the answer in the language that we expect, or might hesitate to give the answer. Then we have additional questions we will ask the children, and these are the different kinds of challenges that we face in the classroom when we want to have conversations with the student. But having good conversations in the classroom helps us create a effective and good English learning environment when it comes to the English language. So in this module, let us discuss how to have effective classroom conversations. So what are the types of conversations that we can have, or what is a structure that we can follow to have good and effective conversations in the classroom? So as you all said, there are many ways that we can have conversations. Kelavaru greetings and greetings ಹೇಳಿದಿರಿ. Yes, we can also greet them. We can also talk to them and ask them about their day. But you've also said asking questions. So in this module, we will look at having conversations with students via asking questions and receiving responses. So how to have effective classroom questions by asking questions and receiving responses. So it is not just as simple as asking questions and directly receiving responses. When we receive responses from students, there are many types of responses, like all of you have pointed out. And what do we do when we receive those responses? We give positive feedback. And after we give positive feedback, we might want to modify the answers that we're getting from the students. And then we might want to present them or introduce the expected answer that we have in our minds. So these is a framework that we have laid out for effective classroom conversations, or these are some basic and simple steps that you can follow in the English language classroom to have effective classroom conversations. In the following modules, in this module and the modules that follow, we will learn how to have effective classroom conversations. In this module specifically, we will be looking at asking questions, receiving responses, and giving positive feedback. So that is steps 1 to 3. So let's take a deeper look at what all of this entails. Asking question. ಇವಾಗ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಕೇಳುವಾಗ ನಾವು ಸಿಂಪ್ಲಿ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಕೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಕೆಲವು ಸತಿ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, ಕೆಲವು ಸತಿ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡೋದಿಲ್ಲ. So our questions also need to be created in such a way where we're able to get the children to respond. So what are some of the steps that we can take in order to develop a good question and a good um, a good sentence or good expectation in our minds when we ask the question in the classroom? So let us look at those steps. First, we decide on the topic. So ನಾವು ಕಲಿಕಾ ಚೇತರಿಕೆಯಲ್ಲಿ we deal with a lot of topics. We deal with topics from the text, from the workbooks, as well as we have prose and poetry in the textbooks as well. So how do we decide on the topic? Let us take the example of the poem Sympathy. So here you have various topics in this poem. ನೀವು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ you can deal with the topic sorrow. ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ you can deal with the way the poet has written the poem. Otherwise, ನೀವು ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ you can say, okay, I will take the topic sympathy and explain the concept to my children. So how what topic that you want to pick needs to be decided. If you want more tips on how you can pick a topic when it comes to role plays and poems and stories, please do refer to our previous modules for some tips. We have covered that. So now, for the purpose of this module, let's say I want to deal with the topic sympathy in the poem Sympathy, and I want to teach the concept of sympathy to my children in the classroom. So, what is the next step? Once I decide the topic, I will create a vocabulary set. So teachers, ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು previous modules ಅಲ್ಲಿ cover ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. ಹೇಗೆ vocabulary set ಅನ್ನ create ಮಾಡಬೇಕು? What is the importance of a vocabulary set? So we are just touching upon this here. This is a tip that we can give you. It helps to create a vocabulary set in order to come up with targeted questions and good answers in the classroom. So let's say sympathy is our topic. How do I develop a vocabulary set for my topic? ನೀವು Google and use ಮಾಡಬಹುದು. ಇವಾಗ you have also used the definitions, features and examples given regarding the topic in the Kalika Kshetrake. Adra ಬಗ್ಗೆ, if you want to outside of that, if you want more examples, more definitions, more features regarding your topic, you can use Google. So Google ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನೀವು simple keywords anna haki. So if you're looking for features, you can use features or you can use characteristics as a keyword. And we suggest you add simple characteristics if you're looking for characteristics. For example, here we have said simple characteristics of sympathy. Idu simple add ಮಾಡಿದ್ರೆ ನಿಮ್ keyword search ಅಲ್ಲಿ, you will get a more simpler version or simpler search results to suit your classroom. Nim classroom, nim students prakara, our level prakara ನೀವು select ಮಾಡಿ. So here we have taken some simple characteristics of sympathy. So feels compassion, cares about another person's pain, misfortune, trouble, or grief are some characteristics we can pick up for sympathy. Another way you can, pick or words or phrases to use in your vocabulary set is use Google Images. So Google Images alli charts ಸಿಗ್ತದೆ, pictures ಸಿಗ್ತದೆ, ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ lots of information ಇದೆ. ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಏನ್ ಬೇಕಾದ್ರೂ, if you are looking for examples of sympathy, here there is a chart with lots of examples regarding sympathy versus empathy. So if I'm looking for examples of sympathy to teach my children, I can simply take the examples given in this image and use it in my vocabulary set. Matte, if you're looking for a simple definition, you can once again go to children friendly sites like Kids Wordsmith. Here, if you type the definition of a particular topic, ivaga ನಾವು sympathy ಅನ್ನು ಹಾಕಿದೀವಿ. Here there are different options of definitions. So regarding the context of your poem, regarding your topic, whatever you're teaching, pick that definition, and also pick the definition that is most simple to use in your classroom. Now, as you see, that's how we have created a vocabulary set for sympathy. Now, using this vocabulary set, we can develop some good questions and some good sentences. So here we are developing a question for sympathy. Once again, I will use the question starters. If you want more tips on how we can develop good and targeted questions for students in the classroom, please do refer to our question building module. So we will use some question starters. If I want to use a question starter, what? My topic or my question will simply be, what is sympathy? Or if I want to use a question starter, how? I can use how and pick on some words from the vocabulary set and create the question, how do we show concern for others? So let's say for this module, I want to pick one of the questions. I want to ask the question, what is sympathy? Now, let's do a quick activity. Teachers, ನೀವೆಲ್ಲರೂ 2 ನಿಮಿಷ ತಗೊಳ್ಳಿ. Think of a topic that you have taught in the classroom. ನೀವು ಎಷ್ಟೊಂದು ಟಾಪಿಕ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಕವರ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಿ ಇದು ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಇಯರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ. You might have done vehicles, you might have spoken about punctuation, you might have spoken about announcements, different topics that you have taken in the classroom. Pick one topic and create a question based on that topic. Please write the question down before the next activity. For example, if you pick the topic vehicles, you can ask the question, what are some examples of vehicles we see? So please do take 2 minutes of time, create a question and write it down. Teacher mentors, I request you to facilitate this activity. You have 2 minutes of time, and I request you to have some of the teachers tell you what they speak before what they have written down before the time is up.
ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ನಿಮ್ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇ ಮಾಡಿರೋ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಉಪಯೋಗಿಸಿ. ಯಾವ ತರದ್ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟರ್ಸ್, ಯಾವ ತರದ್ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಸ್ಗೆ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಕ್ಲೂಸ್ ಕೂಡ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ನೀಡಲಾಗಿದೆ. ಯಾವ ತರದ ಕ್ಯಾಟಗರಿಗೆ ಯಾವ ತರದ್ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟರ್ಸ್ ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತನೂ 2ನೇ ಕ್ಲೂ ಬಾಕ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಕೊಡಲಾಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಆಲ್ ಆಫ್ ಯುವರ್ ಟೈಮ್ ಸ್ಟಾರ್ಟ್ಸ್ ನೌ.
I request teachers, please pick the question that you have written down and just write it down somewhere before your next activity, because this is what we are going to use as we learn the framework. Okay, so now you have developed a question. What is the next step? The next step here is develop a expected answer. So what is an expected answer? ಇವಾಗ ನೀವು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಒಂದು ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಕೇಳ್ತೀರಿ, ಅದ್ರ ಆ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ನಿಮ್ ಮೈಂಡ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ that answer that is in your mind is called a expected answer, and in this module we will call it a expected answer statement. So it is important for us to create the expected answer that we want children to respond to us with and go prepared with it into the classroom. As we go through the module, we will understand why. So first, let's create the expected answer. How do we create the expected answer? Once again, you can use the vocabulary set you have created, use the different keywords in Google search, and help you come up with the vocabulary set and create the expected answer. Now we will use sentence building tips to create a expected answer sentence. So like we have seen in the previous module, we can simply use the sentence building blocks. So what are we talking about here? Since we have spoken about sympathy, we will look at sympathy as an example. So what are we talking about? Sympathy. And what is a action or a description about sympathy? It is a kind understanding and concern for others, or it is having feelings of compassion for others. So now let us quickly create an expected answer sentence. So this is another quick activity for you. Once again, do take 2 minutes and created an expected answer statement for the question that you came up with. ಇವಾಗ ನೀವು ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದ್ದೀರಾ, ಆ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಗೆ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಏನು, ನೀವು ಏನ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಸ್ಟೂಡೆಂಟ್ಸ್ ಹೇಗೆ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾರೆ, or how they should, or how do you want them to answer? Based on that, let's create a expected answer statement. You have a small screenshot of the sentence building module on your screen to help you create this expected answer. Take 2 minutes of time and write this expected answer down.
ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಗಮನಿಸಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮೆಲ್ಲರ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಬ್ಲಾಕ್ಸ್ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಯಾವ ತರದ ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಬ್ಲಾಕ್ಸ್ ನಾವು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಪ್ರಯೋಗಿಸಿ ನಾವು ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಬಿಲ್ಡ್ ಮಾಡಬಹುದು, ಯಾವ ಬ್ಲಾಕ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಏನ್ ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕು, ಯಾಕೆ ಹಾಕ್ಬೇಕಂತಾನು ಕ್ಲೂಸ್ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಆ ಕ್ಲೂಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಪ್ರಯೋಗಿಸಿ ನೀವು ಮೊದಲು ಬರೆದ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗೆ ಯಾವ ತರದ ಉತ್ತರ ನೀವ್ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಂದ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಅನ್ನೋದನ್ನ ಪ್ಲೀಸ್ ಅದೇ ಪೀಸ್ ಆಫ್ ಪೇಪರ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಬರೆಯಿರಿ. Your time starts now. Teachers, we are getting a lot of responses, which is wonderful, but please do remember your answers now must be the answer to the question you created in the previous activity. So if you created what is your name, your answer now should be my name is dash. ಸೊ ನೀವು ಹೋದ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಯನ್ನ ಕ್ರಿಯೇಟ್ ಮಾಡಿದಿರೋ ಆ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗೆ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋ ಉತ್ತರ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಂದ ಯಾವ ತರ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಅನ್ನ ನೀವು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ ಅನ್ನೋ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಇವಾಗ ನೀವು ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಅನ್ನ ಫ್ರೇಮ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದೇ ಈ ಆಕ್ಟಿವಿಟಿ.
Okay, thank you, teachers. I'm sure there are some wonderful sentences that you have created. Okay, now we have created a question. We have created a expected answer. I request you to take time in your Sanchalana centers and share with the teachers in your centers what your question is and what your expected answer expected answer sentence is. So please do take some time. Teacher mentors, at this time we request you to facilitate this. Please help the teacher share what is the question they have written and what is the expected answer sentence they have written. Your time begins now. Okay. I hope teachers, you have had time to share your question and expected answer. If you, were not able to do it during this round, please do share it with your fellow teachers after the session. Nam inputs in the ಎಲ್ಲರಿಗೆ benefit ಆಗ್ತದೆ. So please do share your expected answers with your teachers and your mentors whenever you get the time. Ivaga, we've created a question. We have created a expected answer. What we will do before moving ahead and asking the question in the classroom is highlight some important keywords in our answer. So ಯಾಕೆ ನಾವು keywords ಅನ್ನ highlight ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ? Because ಈ keywords ನಮಗೆ help ಮಾಡ್ತದೆ ಹೇಗೆ to help us understand what are the important points we want the children to know or to answer with. So example, my question is, what is sympathy? My expected answer is on the screen before you. In my expected answer, I have highlighted certain keywords like sympathy, kind understanding, concern for others, feelings of compassion, and caring for another person's pain. E keywords annu I want my students to use these keywords or similar words while they answer. Now, why is highlighting keywords important? We will know this with step number 2, that is receiving responses. Ivaga, just a quick question before we move to that. Very quick. What are the kind of responses that we receive from students? ನೀವು ಚಾಟ್ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಚಾಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ತಿಳಿಸಿ. What are the type of responses after we ask a question we receive from students? So I know we have already received your answers. Some of you have said they give wrong answers or they do not answer. But what are some of the other type of responses we might receive from students when we ask a question?
ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಕೇಳಿರೋ ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆ ಏನಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ, ನಾವು ಕ್ಲಾಸ್ ರೂಮ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹಲವಾರು ಪ್ರಶ್ನೆಗಳನ್ನ ಮಕ್ಕಳಿಗೆ ಕೇಳ್ತೀವಿ. ಆದ್ರೆ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಸಿಗುವ ಉತ್ತರ ಬಂದು ಒಂದೇ ತರದ ಉತ್ತರ ಯಾವಾಗ್ಲೂ ಇರಕ್ ಸಾಧ್ಯನೇ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಾವು ಒಂದೇ ಉತ್ತರ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಿಲ್ಲ, ಒಂದೇ ತರಹದ ಉತ್ತರ. ಯಾವ ತರದ ಉತ್ತರಗಳು ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಸಿಗುತ್ತೆ ಅನ್ನೋದೇ ನಮ್ಗೆ ಚಾಟ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡ್ಬೇಕಂತ ಕೇಳ್ತಿದೀವಿ. ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಶೇರ್ ಮಾಡಿ.
So we are receiving some responses: incomplete answers, one word answers, correct answers, positive response, partially correct responses, incomplete or complete answers, word sentence and wrong answers. Yes. So lots of responses. Yes. So there are different kinds of responses. Now a question kelvaga one tarada response barodilla. We have different kinds of responses. So what are those responses? Some of you have already given us the answers. So we can categorize the responses into 3 types: partially correct answer or wrong answer. ಸೊ ಹೇಗೆ ಕ್ಯಾಟಗರೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ, ಏನ್ ಟೂಲ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಯೂಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ ಕ್ಯಾಟಗರೈಸ್ ಮಾಡ್ಲಿಕ್ಕೆ? ಇಟ್ ಇಸ್ ವೆರಿ ಸಿಂಪಲ್. We will use our expected question and our expected answer sentence. Let's take another example from the Kalika Kshetra. You are required to teach the lesson leg trap. And the comprehension question for leg trap that you might use as a question in the classroom is, what did you understand about Dira from the story? Now, ಈ ಕ್ವೆಶನ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಒಂದು ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಅನ್ನು ಡೆವಲಪ್ ಮಾಡಿದೀವಿ. Dira was a brave and hardworking boy. He was able to catch the jewel thief with his intelligence and patience. Now, let's highlight some important keywords. Brave, hardworking boy, able to catch the jewel thief, his intelligence and patience. ಈ keywords ಅನ್ನು ನೀವು highlight ಮಾಡಿ. These are the keywords that you expect from the children when they answer this question in the classroom. Now, let's see how that will help us in identifying the type of response. Correct response. This answer has 2 or more keywords that is present in your expected answer. And this answer has most of the information you are looking for. For example, to this is the expected answer in the teacher's mind. A child might say, Dira was brave and he caught the thief. Here we have 2 keywords. Or the child might say, Dira was smart and he was also hardworking. Again, we have more than a few keywords present here. The Dira was clever and he caught the jewel thief. We have most of the information that we are looking for in our expected answer given in the child's sentences. So this could be a correct answer. Now, what is a partially correct answer? ಇವಾಗ ನಾವು ಕರೆಕ್ಟ್ ಆನ್ಸರ್ ನೋಡಿದೀವಿ. Partially correct answer, how do we categorize a partially correct answer? Partially correct answer ಅಲ್ಲಿ less than 2 or similar kind of keywords are used. So the child might not use so many keywords or a lot of keywords, but the child might use few keywords or similar forms or synonyms of the keywords in their expected answer. The child's answer lacks full information that you are looking for, but has some information. So let us look at an example. Here, if this is the expected answer, the child might just say, Dira was brave. So here the child is correct, but not fully correct because the child is missing a lot of information. The child may say Dira was smart. Smart is another word for brave. So this is a partially correct answer. Dira caught the jewel thief. Yes, Dira did catch the jewel thief, and that is present in your expected answer, but it is not the full information you're looking for. So these, and finally, Dira caught a thief for the police. So there is some information that you are looking for in this child's answer, but it is not the full information. So these are some examples of what a partially correct answer looks like. Now we have wrong answer. So when do we as teachers consider a child's answer wrong? Or when can we tell a child has not answered the question correctly? If the child has no similar keywords, our answer ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಯಾವ keywords ಇಲ್ಲ, keywords to similar words no illa our answer ಅಲ್ಲಿ, and the answer can be completely irrelevant to the information you are looking for. So for example, one of you had written the question, a very nice question: who is the defense minister of India? And you are expecting the answer Rajnath Singh, but the child answers completely differently or completely irrelevantly and says Atal Bihari Vajpayee. Now this can be considered a wrong answer. So let's see. If this is the expected answer, the child says Dira was a shoe shine. Now there is no relevant keywords or no information you're looking for. Or Dira was afraid of the police. Again, no relevant keywords or no information you're looking for. Dina was confused about the thief. Once again, no relevant information or no keywords you are looking for. You should not be greedy. This is completely irrelevant to the question that the teacher has asked in the classroom. So this can be considered as a wrong answer. Now let's do a simple and quick activity. We will show you a slide where a teacher has an expected answer and the student is giving an answer. We want you to tell us what kind of answer it is, or in your mentor group, please share what kind of answer it is. However, this is what you can use this is a sentence framework you can use to respond in your mentor groups. I think this response is a dash response. So tell the mentor group if your response is a correct response, if the response is a correct response, a partially correct response, or a wrong response. And also add what you as a teacher would do when a child answers this way. ಇವಾಗ ನೀವು ಏನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀರಾ, ನೀವು ಏನ್ ಸ್ಟೆಪ್ಸ್ ತಗೊಳ್ತೀರಾ if a child responded this way in the classroom. So here is a sentence framework you can use, and this is the response. So do share, take a minute's time, think about what kind of response it is, and teacher mentors, we request you to facilitate this activity. Please allow the teachers to answer what kind of response this is and what they would do in their classrooms when a child responds this way.
ಟೀಚರ್ಸ್ ದಯವಿಟ್ಟು ಗಮನಿಸಿ, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಸ್ಕ್ರೀನ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಆ ಫ್ರೇಮ್ವರ್ಕ್, ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರೇಮ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಬಂದು ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಆ ಸೆಂಟೆನ್ಸ್ ಫ್ರೇಮ್ವರ್ಕ್ ಅನ್ನ ಪ್ರಯೋಗಿಸಿ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಉತ್ತರಗಳನ್ನ ನೀವು ನಮಗೆ ಚಾಟ್ ಮುಖಾಂತರ ಕಳಿಸಬಹುದು. ಇಲ್ಲಿ ಡಿಸ್ಪ್ಲೇ ಆಗಿರೋ ಉತ್ತರ, ಈ ಮಗುವಿನ ಉತ್ತರ ಯಾವ ತರದ ಉತ್ತರ ಅಂತ ನಿಮ್ಗೆ ಅನ್ಸ್ತಿದೆ ಅಂತ ನೀವು ನಮ್ಗೆ ಕಳಿಸಬಹುದು. All right, teachers. I hope you all have understood the purpose of why this answer was displayed to you. And yes, you are right. It is a partially correct answer. So moving on to what we have to do next in our classrooms. So we've seen how we have to ask questions. What are the preparations we have to do as teachers before asking a question? We might have to decide the topic. We have to build a vocabulary set, come up with good questions using question starters, and then also frame the expected answer in our minds. And only then can we actually move forward in asking questions. So then when it comes to receiving responses, we also saw of how we get a variety of responses from students and how we're supposed to identify them using the highlighted keywords that we already have. So having done these two steps, what do we do next? It's obviously to give positive feedback. So what do we mean when we say give positive feedback? Why should our feedback be always positive? You might be thinking, we are not going to get the same kind of answers from every student. We already saw that a few students might give us correct answers, or partially correct answers may also come our way. Sometimes absolutely wrong answers are given. So what do we do? Do we give positive feedback for all these three? Well, we'd say yes, but in different forms. ನಮ್ಗೆ ಬರೋ ಉತ್ತರಗಳು ಹಲವಾರು ತರದ ಉತ್ತರಗಳಾಗಿರ್ಬಹುದು, ಆದ್ರೆ ಆ ಉತ್ತರಗಳನ್ನ ಪಾಸಿಟಿವ್ ಆಗಿ ಹ್ಯಾಂಡಲ್ ಮಾಡೋದು ನಮ್ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲೇ ಇದೆ. ಆದ್ರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಉತ್ತರಗಳಿಗೆ ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ತರದ ಫೀಡ್ಬ್ಯಾಕ್ ಕೊಡ್ಬೇಕಾಗಿರೋದು ನಮ್ ಕೈಯಲ್ಲಿದೆ. ಅದನ್ನೇ ಈ ಕೆಲವೊಂದು ನಿಮಿಷ ನಾವು ನೋಡೋಣ. So when we're getting correct answers, we are required to give appreciative statements. When we get partially correct answers, we are required to give both encouraging statements and then probe them towards the correct answer. And when we get wrong answers, we are supposed to give constructive feedback and then redirect them. How do we do that? What do we mean by all of this? Let's just see for a couple of minutes. So if we get a correct answer, what does it mean to give appreciative statements? So we as teachers cannot just brush off a correct answer. I've asked a question, you've given an answer, all right, okay, moving forward. No, that is not the way we do it. We need to give some positive reinforcement to our students so that they work hard and are encouraged to give out more correct answers in the future, and they also get some sense of recognition from us through our appreciative statements. So here are a few examples that will be both displayed and read out to all of you all. I'd request you all to repeat after me wherever you are at your Sanchalana centers, and even if you've logged in individually at the comfort of your home. But please do remember that it is not only important to give out or repeat these appreciative words, but it's also important for us to use a good intonation. So let's start. Very good.
Very good.
That is correct.
That is correct.
Good answer.
Good answer.
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Great.
Great.
Well done.
Well done.
That's nice.
That's nice.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Good job.
Good job.
Wonderful. Thank you for the participation, teachers. So moving forward, we go to our second kind of responses that we get from our students or learners. So we get partially correct answers. So we do know that sometimes the answers coming our way cannot be categorized as completely correct or as completely wrong. They're sometimes both, half and half. So what do we do? How do we deal with this? Do we tell, you're not correct? No, you're completely wrong? No, just stop? No, we're supposed to encourage them for having it gotten right at least a little bit, and then probe them towards getting the right answer. And what do we mean by probe? We want to ask a few additional questions or make them think along a particular line that we want our expected answer. And how do we do that? We could do that with a few positive encouragement statements like this. And again, teachers, I request you all to listen to what we have to say carefully and repeat and practice it at the center that you are placed in or wherever you are. So here we go. Good.
Good.
Let's think of some more words.
Let's think of some more words.
Good work. You are very close.
Good work. You are very close.
I love your suggestion.
I love your suggestion.
And so on and so forth. So these are some encouraging statements that you can give and help them to, think along the lines of the correct answer by probing them, which is a technique for them to tell them that they're almost there. They just have to work their brains a little more. So what do we do when we get the final kind of response, which is the wrong response? We've already seen of how wrong answers are completely irrelevant or incorrect. So what do? Do we bash our learners by saying, you're wrong? Can't you think? Why can't you give me the right answer? No, these kind of statements discourage them. So we'd suggest that you could give some constructive statements and then redirect them towards the correct answer by giving them certain clues. Remember, we've already underlined a few keywords in our expected answers. So you could just pick out a few keywords and throw it their way and help them to use those clues to understand the question better and come up with the right answer. So here are a few constructive statements again for you all, which I'd like for you all to repeat after me, just like we did for the previous ones. So here it goes. Let me repeat that question for you.
Let me repeat that question for you.
Let us read that again.
Let us read that again.
I like it that you tried,
I like it that you tried,
but that is not the answer I am looking for.
but that is not the answer I am looking for.
Wonderful. Thank you for that, teachers. So now, having seen how to give positive feedback and how to deal with different kinds of responses coming our way, we come to almost the end of today's module. And as we've all told you beforehand, we will be dealing extensively with modifying the answer and introducing expected answer by probing and redirecting in our next module. But let me just give you a glimpse of how that would look. So if we're talking about modifying our answers, we would say that you've already got an answer from the students. You just have to identify the correct ones or the correct keywords and say, okay, yes, all of these words you've gotten correct. So we reiterate the correct keywords from the responses we've received. And then there's a little bit missing. So what do? I'll just fill it for you. So we introduce the missing keywords, and that is how we modify or change the answer just a little bit to help the learners come up to our next step, which is to get the expected answer. So we will have to introduce the expected answer in our minds for them. So because they can't read our minds. So how will we do that? We'll just do that with simple steps like writing down the expected answer on the blackboard or repeating the question again after having all of these steps done, because the students might have gotten lost with the answer, that they might have forgotten the question. So it's important for us to repeat the question and then read the expected answer out loud for the students and also have them repeat it. So all of these helps the students finally get the expected answers drilled in their minds. So having said that, please do remember that the last two steps would be extensively dealt with in our modules. So you needn't worry that we went a little fast. We just wanted to give you a glimpse as to the pattern that we just introduced to you today. So if we are to recall and summarize what we just did today, it's simple. We all try to see that there is a pattern to classroom conversations. When classroom conversations happens, we go through certain steps. And why do we have to see these steps? It's not that we don't know these. We all as teachers have been following this for years now. But trying to prepare for each of this step and trying to prepare for it in English helps us better our English. That is the sole focus of this module. So we saw how to ask questions, how to prepare for them, how to receive responses, how to prepare for those responses by giving good feedback, and then how to change the answers we've received, and then how to introduce our expected answers. So that culminates and brings our module for today to an end. Just a quick thing before we close for today is a small video for all of y'all where we'd like to show you how our Teachopia app works. So this is how our app looks like, where the content session, you'll have different grades, subjects, lessons. You will even have concept guides, which will look like this for you all. You will even get our lesson plans if needed. Our lesson plans are just a few examples or help tools that will help you before class. We even have that in different languages available. We have it even bilingually available, both English and Kannada. And since in the Kalika Chetrike year, no prose or poetry, we have Kalika Chetrike milestones and LOs dealt with in the other content session. Here you have Kalika Chetrike scripts, where the activities in our handbook can be executed in the classroom with dialogues, the dialogues that it will take for a teacher to execute a particular activity can be used from our Kalika Chetrike scripts. So that is a quick preview to what is available right in your hands besides these training sessions that we have for you. So we all look forward to you all using those help tools available through these sessions and through the apps on your phones. So thank you, teachers, for all of your wonderful participation today.